Today our Prime Minister made some statements and it was quite alarming to all of us. We said, what's going on here, PM? You got a majority? Now you're going to take out your daggers? What's happening here?
The fact that Afghanistan became a failed state.
Afghanistan? Failed state? I wonder why. The Soviet invaded it, put thousands and thousands of bombs, dropping everywhere, everyone's running, no shelter. Then the Americans went in, bombed further. So that's why it's a failed state, because there's no state to begin with. There's only bombed state.
A couple of closing questions. Where's the major threat to us as a country right now? Where does it come from?
Well, you know, Peter, there are a number of threats on different levels. But if you look at, if we're talking about terrorism, I mean, the major threat is still Islamicism.
Major threat? Islamicism? What was that? Islamicism? We should all run away. What is that in the English language? Islamicism? I wonder which dictionary he was using at night. Was it Merriam's? Or was it Mary's dictionary? Whose dictionary was he using? Islamicism? 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 Or exorcism? Maybe he's possessed. Something's wrong with it. I gotta run because they're all over the place. They're just like cockroach. No, they're invading us. Come on, Mr. PM. Please, for God's sake, at least pick up. Did you go to the same school as Mr. Bush did? Islamofascism, Islamicism. Why don't you actually just read literature properly and at least be a prime minister of a free and fair country that takes care of its own people? What are you doing? Why are you shaming us in front of the whole world? You learn to speak English.
There are other threats out there, but that is the one that I can tell you occupies the security apparatus.
There are other threats. I wonder what? It couldn't be the Russian mafia. It couldn't be the Chinese mafia. It couldn't be all the guns that they're selling out there. It couldn't be the 1,000 people that died last year due to the gun violence. It couldn't be alcohol, thousands of people that died from it. It couldn't be the cigarettes, that another set of thousands of people that died from it. These are all not acts of violence done against society, but it's Islamicism. So I wonder who died from Islamicism, or who was injured by Islamicism, and our security apparatuses. They're in town watching us. Where are we going? Oh, there. Oh, what are they planning? Oh, what are they plotting? For Pete's sake, somebody give us a break. Give us a break. Give us a break. We didn't do anything. Please give us a break. Islamicism. I gotta run. Please, no more Islamicism.
Now, as we've seen in Norway, terrorist threats can come out of the blue. They can come from something completely different.
Come out of the blue? Maybe he had blue-eyed, blonde hair? As you know, very recently, the Oslo massacre that took place, all of a sudden when it was found out that he was blonde hair and blue eyes, although we don't have any kind of racial attachment to any color, but at the same time, when it was found out that it was him, there was no scanners being put up into the airports. There was nobody calling for putting them on no-fly list. Everyone that is blonde hair and blue eyes. There was nobody saying that, for example, airlines weren't coming out and saying, well, we're going to racially profile the white men from the ages of 30 to 45. Totally ridiculous. They wouldn't do that. But if it was a Muslim, you know that what they would actually try to do after that, even if he attempted something that was wrong and somehow his name happened to be Ahmed to begin with.
People think of Islamic terrorism, they think of Afghanistan, or maybe they think of some place in the Middle East. With the
when
truth,
they think of Islamic terrorism, Islamic terrorism, they think of Afghanistan. Do you think of that? When you think of terrorism, do you like Afghanistan pops in your mind? Maybe not. Maybe another country pops in your mind. Whenever you think of Islamic terrorism, We think of Hinduic terrorism, Christianic terrorism, Buddhistic terrorism. I wonder what kind of terrorism we're talking about. My goodness, I just wonder what's happening. Is somebody okay?
That threat exists all over the world. We've seen some recent bombings in Nigeria.
We've seen bombings in Nigeria. Why don't we also say we've seen bombings in Iraq, we've seen bombings in Afghanistan, we've seen bombings before in Vietnam. We've seen bombings, we have all what we have been doing lately have been bombing. So it's not that we have just seen it in Nigeria. It's everywhere. Please stop dropping these bombs on these people. Maybe perchance you think they're just angry because somebody's dropping a bomb on them. I don't know. Collateral damage, maybe. What's the terminology? Catch a pedophile on the street and just annihilate the street itself? I don't know. Maybe that's a rule of law nowadays. Maybe under his government. I don't know. Let's see.
In terms of how you counter that, a number of clauses were brought in 2001. They were sunsetted in 2007. Your last government tried to bring those back, preventative arrest and the other one. Will you try to bring those back in the new government?
That is our plan. We think those measures are necessary. We think they've been
number of clauses. Yes. One clause, throw away the key. Yes. They might do something, so jail them all. Maybe put tattoos on them. Like a number here. I wonder who did that in the history before. Was it in the 1930s it started? In the 40s he was doing it. This madman, small mustache. I don't know. He used to put numbers on innocent people. You know, put them somewhere. He started with these statements that they're the threat and they're the problem and they're the enemy. I wonder, who's that guy? I don't know. Folks, we would like to tell you that we as Canadian Muslims are deeply offended by these statements of our Prime Minister. We never thought that we would live to hear a day where a Prime Minister of a country that is law-abiding, that actually has the Charter of Human Rights, rights and freedoms, that employs such dirty tactics to marginalize an already on the periphery community, meaning to say that already alienated for no reason other than because we have a different name, because our noses might be longer, because we might have a different skin color, because we might look a bit different, we might pray a bit different. But this is what Canada is all about, that we're a multicultural society. I don't know how he has won the majority government and what strings he has pulled. But I'm sure that he does not speak for many of the Canadians that are out there. There are good people that do not want this kind of pitting of people or marginalizing different sects. Who is going to be next on his chopping block? Oh, so he goes with the flavor of the society itself. Was it the North American Indians before? Was it the African Americans before? Was it the Japanese before? Was it the Koreans before? The Chinese? And now Muslims. I think Canada is great because it does great things and it stands for great principles, lofty principles. So we, wholeheartedly, we reject the Prime Minister's statement. We find the interviewing from Peter Mansbridge very repugnant, extremely distasteful, because he did not do good journalism. He did not ask the tough questions. He did not even question him on racist remarks, putting a whole 1.8 billion people, calling Islamic, and then using terrorism with that word itself as though you would use terrorism with any other religion. If you look at the history, you will see that most of the terroristic act that happened had nothing to do with Islamic. And if you read authors that actually are expert in the field, not the pundits on CNN, so authors like Pape, who have studied the phenomena, who are experts, have stated that it has nothing to do with religious fervor and has nothing to do with people's inclination towards a form of worship. It has everything to do with usurpation of land, of taking away their wealth, their resources, bombing them, killing them, and persecuting them, marginalizing them, making them into refugees. And that's how you develop hate. So we would like to actually curtail all those things, truncate this avalanche that is starting to actually spew and bellow much of his personal hate towards a Muslim society. And we would also let the good voters down the road, because his term will come to end one day in terms of voting. So we will have to vote him out one day, because he is showing his tenacity to stay in power, prorogue the parliament, do all of those things, and yet we give him a majority vote. I don't know where we're at in this historical event in terms of Canada. I think you should voice your concern as Canada. Who will be next? Is it going to be the Hindus? Is it going to be the Jews? Is it going to be the Buddhists? Is it going to be the Christians who are now practicing? Who is going to be next on his chopping block? So we plead to your good sense that we cannot let this thing go. Because remember the story about the brown cow, the white cow, and the black cow. None of them saved each other from the lion, thinking that the lion will only eat a certain type. But at the end, all were in danger. We must stand together against racism, against discrimination, and with discernment. We ask you of your good nature to voice your concern, and please not stay silent. Because in history, for evil to actually prosper is for good people to stay silent. And I hope you have understood the message. We try to do it in a more comical fashion, but these are very serious issues. It has damaged the community relations. We pray that God bless you and give you good health, and take care of yourself, and peace be upon you.